Hello. Um, Hi to anybody who happens to be here currently. Hope you're having a good Friday night. Um, I personally am having a pretty good Friday. I just had a bunch of hot chocolate, which is great. I worked on my dissertation for like 4 hours today. So that was like less. It's good that I did that, but I'm also tired. So I took a nap. Had some pasta, all that stuff that you do on a Friday night. So yeah. That's an update on me, I guess, but I said on Monday that I was going to try and stream some more Disco Elysium this weekend, and today is my free night this weekend, so I thought I would go ahead and do that. So we're gonna pick up where we left off on Monday, and probably go for like a little over an hour. We'll see how I feel, but yeah, that's what we'll do. So if you'll remember, if people were at the stream on Monday or if people watched the VOD, we had just finished up the process of getting this body that we're investigating down from the tree that it was in, and that was like a very long process. That was a much longer process than I thought it was going to be, for sure. So last time it was like a pretty short stream, and we just kind of putzed around for a little bit. We went and talked to this guy Measurehead, who got the body down for us. We went and talked to this pawn shop guy about various things. We got a new shirt, which is great. Let's look at our shirt. Yeah, it's covered up by this tie. I feel like we're dressed like somebody going to like the 8th grade formal or something, like like dress shoes, t-shirt, tie. Our jacket is like the one cool item of clothing that we have. These gloves that give us like extra mechanical dexterity. The clothes in this game are just so good. I'm just realizing we could be holding something else, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But yeah, fashion souls. I still kind of can't believe. Oh, we have -2 savoir faire. Oh, it's because of these frickin' pants. Right. Okay. Last time we also tried to get rid of the pants, and I couldn't find a substitute. So we'll see. We have had to take them off for one check, so that might persist as a problem. But we'll see. There's some sweatpants that I think are going to be a good substitute. Then we'll really be kicking it in style. Anyway. I think this is how... is this how we should like recap these streams from now on? Is me just doing a fashion update? Anyway. So we have a lot of tasks at this point, actually. We're still on day 1, actually. It's almost 5. So we're not running out of time, but we're a little bit time sensitive in terms of the stuff that we can do today. And I think that maybe as far as priorities, it might be smart for me to think about what we can accomplish in the next in-game time 5-hour period or so, because I think that if I'm remembering correctly, the way the time works in this game, I've said this before, is that every time you're in a conversation, time passes. Every time that you do certain actions, time passes. And there are a couple of other ways to make time pass. But there's a certain point at which nobody's outside, time will stop passing, and you have to go to sleep. And so I don't want us to be in the middle of something and have that happen. But I don't think we can do all of the things that I'd like us to be able to do. So the 3 things I'm thinking about are, number 1, examining the body. Number 2, finding a place to put the body, which is kind of its own thing. And I have some insight into how I want to do that because I have played this game before. And that's going to be a whole process. That may be something we end up doing, like, potentially tomorrow. Although, it would be really good to do it today. Because we wasted so much time on that union stuff, we've kind of dwindled away a lot of our first day. But, that's okay. We're not min-maxing it here. We're just trying to play through the game. Yeah, I don't know. It's so we can observe the body. We can try to find a place to put the body, or we can talk to this woman named Joyce. And she is part of a quest that I think is called Get a Reality Lowdown. Yes. So we're supposed to find a rich person, and again, I know this because I've played the game before. Apologies for the sort of lead on this one, but she is someone that we're going to need to talk to eventually. And the cool thing about her is that she's wealthy, and so potentially we can get some money from her. And we can also get information. But the thing about this is it's going to take us a very long time because it's a very long conversation. And as I just said, conversations run out our clock. So I think the first thing that I'm going to do, because I don't quite remember what examining the body entails, I think it's going to take a while. I'm going to go there first and see what the damage is with this guy. Let's just look at these other tasks here. These 2, I think, will kind of come naturally. This is related to finding a place to store the body, so we might do this later. I have no idea how we're going to do this. That's these guys that are over here right now on screen. I think like 2 streams ago, we threw their ball into the sea on accident. We have to pay like $130 or something, which we currently have 4, so we got to work on that. Can't do that. We could talk to Gart, I guess. That'll come later. This is going to be a whole thing. I'd like to do this early. Maybe we'll do this as like a closer to this stream, because this is going to be a little bit mentally dangerous for us. I'll say that. Can't do this yet. Can't do this yet. And then we already talked about these 2. Yeah, so I think let's go look at the body. Let's see what's going on. So we've talked a little bit about we've learned a little bit about kind of the political situation in Martinez over the last few streams, but I love the way that they have rendered, you know, this conflict. Like, there's all of these bullet holes in the walls, and there's all of this damage from shelling, and then we just have this big crack right here. It's like a ravine or something. And the light's changed a bit too now that it's afternoon. Alright, let's go a little faster. Okay. I'm gonna turn our game audio down a tiny bit because this guy might... They actually... So this character, they changed his voiceover in the update because it was so piercing that I think people were just having problems, like, registering what he was saying. Yeah, I'm not mad about it. Some people are. This looks... Let's look at the damage. This looks pretty bad.
The corpse lies on the ground among the remains of an absolutely demolished pinewood branch. It's gently laid on one side.
Mr. Measurehead has done a good job. Nothing is too broken or compromised.
Mm.
The victim is ready for a field autopsy. Yes. 1. Investigation of the scene. 2. Initial examination of the victim. 3. Field autopsy. 4. Transportation of the body to the morgue. We are on number 3.
Mm-hmm.
The RCM's 4-phase murder scene processing manual.
The fuck are they on about?
Cop's gonna cut his shit up.
Got it.
Good. Now, the way I see it, it's either this, or we complete the initial interviews. We already met Evrard, but didn't quite get his interview done. For that, we have to ask him about the lynching. There's also Wild Pine's representative in town. She could have some information.
Oh, interesting. I think I must have done this out of order last time, but... So we can either talk to Joyce, who I was just talking about. She's the representative. Or we can go back and talk to Everett. I feel like we're just going to hit a wall with him. But... maybe. I don't want to waste time, but I also... Yeah, let's go talk to
Not
Joyce.
Much later, I hope. He's about to melt away soon.
Okay. Before we do anything else, let's look at our skill points. So we have 2. We can either open up a thought slot, because we got 2 extra thoughts last time. And these are both just kind of like for fun. They're not going to be super helpful. I also don't know if I don't have a negative. Oh, I would have such bad savoir faire with this one, but it's pretty funny. Or, and I think this is what we're going to do, we can raise our volition so that we have 2 morale points instead of just 1. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, see? So now we have 2 little. So now we can survive 2 demoralizing conversation moments instead of just 1. All right, let's go. Let's get out of this little depressing yard. There's this like dialogue option you can get with Kim a little bit later on where he'll be like, I think it's Kim. Oh wait, we got a little thought here. Oh no, come back. Oh, it's a book. That's the guy on our shirt. Doll Man. You can kind of just see the flames. I think he's covered up by our tie. The tie is like really not doing anything for me, but I don't think we really have a lot of neckwear options. I'm like so concerned about the style. It's not even funny. So I've been playing through Dark Souls 2 recently, which is a game I don't think I would ever stream because the experience of me playing that game is like probably 95% running down the same hallway like 30 or 40 times for a few hours at a time until I decide that I'm done with that. But the Fashion Souls thing has been lost on me a little bit. You know, people like getting really good outfits and armor and stuff because I have found one armor set that I like, and it's the only one that gives me like a normal roll. And I just have stuck with that one. And so I'm sort of sad that I'm missing out on the whole Fashion Souls experience that everybody who's playing Elden Ring right now is getting to have. But I can live my fashion experience in this game. What's this? I was saying earlier, one of the dialogue options you can get from Kim later is like, why are you always running everywhere, right? Because if I do a single click, I just walk. But if I click twice, I run. And I used to think that was based on how much you actually ran in the game. Unfortunately, it's not. Motorcycle. Paint. There's a girl up there. Where are you?
Hey, up here, piggo.
Hello. What does this say? La politique le rues est. La politique est. It looks like it says Pam, but I think it maybe says femme.
Yeah,
rules.
you bet.
What's up?
The streets will flow red once more. A great torrent rushing down Rue de Esperance. You wait and see.
I feel like they changed her voice too. She's
The
like really
streets will
chill.
not flow red with anything. Who are you?
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C.
Martinez has a very good sexual health system. They have great testing. That's what I'm learning from this conversation. I hope that they do. I'm not gonna ask that.
Go where? Accosting a minor?
Okay.
Listen to your partner, pig man. Keep your grubby hooves off little old ladies.
The lieutenant furrows his brow at another one of your eccentricisms. Hatred, disgust. It's difficult to tell which of the two is more present in her girlish features. The woman on the boat does not notice her staring.
That is on her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her.
Ozon is an archipelago 2 days' travel away from Rivershore. Its moneyed residents, used to posh restaurants and upscale boutiques, rarely have reason to visit Martinez.
Probably the Wild Pines rep. We should talk to her. She's a professional negotiator, though. I have the feeling she will be very cooperative while telling us nothing. You should take the lead. Ask her unexpected questions, you know? Do your thing. Don't be afraid to get a bit wacky.
Good idea, piggies. Run along now. Fuck her shit up good. Impound that boat while you're at it. I'd like to watch her swim back to Ozon.
What's up with the wall?
Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural, an aereo graffitio visible from low orbit. I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words. Yeah?
I love public art.
Thanks. I'm sure the inspiration will come to me now that I have an official RCM stamp of approval.
She means the opposite.
All right, sorry, lady. We
Watch
ruined your
back, ungulate.
inspiration.
Got eyes on you.
Man, I think people should use the word ungulate. Actually, I don't. I was gonna say people should use that as an insult more often, but I actually think the opposite. I think we should all refrain from.
A sturdy metal door guards the southwest entrance to the apartment building. It's locked. The door rattles against your knuckles, but there's no response. The door rattles again, but this time you hear an elderly woman's voice calling out from inside.
Stop banging on the door! I'm not letting any more strangers inside.
Who's this?
Doesn't matter who I am. Now go on, get out of here.
From within comes the faint sound of a broom sweeping across the concrete floor.
Ha! The police? Everyone knows the police don't come round here. No, I already told you. I won't be responsible for any more strangers getting into the building. Go check the backyard door. Maybe someone there will.
Backyard door. There must be another entrance to the east.
Kim, tell her we're real policemen.
Madame, I assure you, we are real police officers.
There is no reply. Just faint sweeping sounds inside.
Legend. The ocean. There's a thought we can get, and maybe we'll get it today if things go well, that will give us experience every time we click on one of these little bubbles. This is worth more than you'll ever earn in all your life. Huh. I love moments like that where your thoughts interact super directly with something that you've clicked on. Alright, hi Joyce.
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM.
What does the L stand for?
Beaton, my maiden name.
What gave us away?
Nothing, honestly. I've said it to every drunk in town, and you're the first one who's responded.
Relax. She meant it in jest.
I'm glad to see you here.
Like steel. There is strength there. If she wanted, she could sink her nails deep into your skin.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will. Gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical
Oh,
episode.
Kim, don't say that.
Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
I feel like it's probably actually a bad idea to tell this person that I don't have my memory.
There's a trace of irony in his voice. Mischief, even. This is a tactic.
Okay, Kim.
It happens quicker than a shooting star. But did the lieutenant just wink at you?
Oh. This is the game within the game, becoming friends with Kim.
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
You seem rich. Can I have some money? We'll save that for later. Tell me about Wild Pines.
What we do. I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking.
There was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent.
So what did they do?
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revacholian Indo-tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain himself, centuries ago. The king is long gone, but several of the Indo-tribes remain.
You're in good company.
Why, thank you.
She does not register the real meaning of the word. How much money do they
I'm
have?
not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year, the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue.
A billion?
Oh no. How did I fail that? Numbers like that mean nothing to me. Wow.
20 billion is a large
Okay.
number, but the conglomerate employs 72,000 people. They all need to be paid. Then there are capital improvements, interest payments. A conglomerate the size of the Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving, it will die. Then what becomes of those 72,000 families? It's a tremendous responsibility. They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian Isolas 250 years ago, when pine ships explored the South Seminese and charted Lormantang on behalf of the suzerain. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build it. You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo?
I've decided I'm going to be really strategic about this conversation. I think when I came into this with, ironically, with like my emotionally intelligent character last time, I just like stumbled through it. So,
There are no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for, lest the entire system break. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose their jobs, the world over. I'm here to assure that doesn't happen.
what can you tell me about the strike?
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets.
What's your role?
I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place.
So it seems like the lynching is just kind of the straw that's broken the camel's back here with a lot of the city's goings on and services, right? This is just one.
Wait, she just admitted that the lynching and the strike are connected.
Now they won't
Nice.
even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter 20 racist behemoth blocking the gates.
Yeah, it's the guy that we talked to last time. So it's interesting. I've always had pretty low yellow skills, and so I always assumed that they were mostly physically related, but both composure and reaction speed have really been carrying me in conversation, like way more so than a lot of my purple skills have. So the strike is connected to the lynching.
Yes, I believe there is a connection, but that's a subject for later.
Right, how are the talks going before?
Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
Ludicrous, even. It's meant.
So she's pretty anti. anti-union. I think I misstated this last time, actually. So the union, I think that I had said that the union was scabbing with these additional workers. The union is actually on strike, and the scabs are related to this outside agency called Wild Pines, right? This is a lot of like plot-related political intrigue, but it is interesting.
Scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock come to plead for work where the union refuses to?
Don't let her answer it herself.
Yeah, let's say strike breakers.
If these strike breakers were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then
Yeah.
it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not yet, at least.
All right, so Wild Pines is trying to break the union strike.
It's implied. She's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
What do you think about Everett?
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first. Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood. Oh,
Oops.
heavens no. We get along just fine. Yet, now that you mention it, I can't stop imagining that black treacle just dribbling down his double chin.
All right, game. No need for that. Skipped over this bit. See, hand-eye coordination is helping, which is weird. It's like it's a visual skill, but it's helping us in conversation. I think honestly, yellow skills are like the unseen MVP of this game, because I had a number of situations last time I played through this that were very stressful because I just didn't have high enough skills. Whereas this playthrough anyway, they're my highest. That's Everett.
He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar.
Yeah, he told us about that.
Have you seen him?
Or no, the guy outside, Leo, told us about that. No.
Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does. And when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over.
There's a lot to be said about how this game is framing disability and also fatness as moral signals. I don't love that. I'm trying to think of whether or not there are disabled characters in this game who are portrayed positively, but you know, we'll come back to that, but just food for thought.
It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues.
Let's take this back to the strike.
Of course.
What are their demands?
There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Oh yes. Every worker, a member of the board.
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
Remember last time we got the communist thought? It'd be interesting if I said that. I do like it, but I feel like I don't want to say that to her. I'm gonna say this, even though I don't actually think it, just because I want to go along with her.
In its defense, another said, demand democracy. Pretty tame stuff compared to every worker, a member of the board.
What does that mean?
It's quite simple, you see. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about what? About anything really, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group.
So she's kind of a classic liberal character, I think, right? She has like some social mores, but she's pretty anti-union and also pessimistic about the union. I think if I say this, I'll get some XP.
That may well be. It's not up to me to decide who is king, but as negotiations go, it's not a swell start.
Yeah, probably not.
I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags, a disastrous situation if there ever was one.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the bowyer at the gates, the one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
This checks out.
Okay.
Of course. How else can I help?
Oh, I can now say that I've talked to Everett. Maybe I'll save that for later. I don't necessarily know that I want her to know that. I'm going to save this for last. Because we have to have this conversation with her for several reasons, but actually I'll save this for last. What can you tell me about the lynching?
Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask your names and badge numbers.
Remember what we don't have? We have our name.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41, Detective Dubois. I'm afraid Harry doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
This is so interesting. So last time I did this, I had not been to Everett yet. I don't even think that I went to visit him until like day 3 or 4. And so I didn't have my name. And this conversation went pretty poorly. But I don't have my badge, so I don't know what's going to happen.
Oh, and what happened to yours, Detective? I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode?
Yeah.
I can't hear you, darling.
Oh, no.
Please.
All right, game. It's possible. I could have eaten it for all I know.
Oh, dear. Some kind of encephalopathic amnesia. I don't even know how to respond.
All right.
I do believe you, naive as that may sound. I simply can't imagine what you gain by faking such a condition.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM.
Of course, I sympathize. But I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
Great. Perhaps if you did her a favor. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, that's not a separate thing, but we have to find her badge.
She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually
Oh, there's no
beneficial
way.
arrangement.
There's no way that I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna leave this and come back later because I think I will probably find my badge at some point. And if not, maybe I'll have more suggestion. I don't think this is gonna go well for me. Okay, I'll find it.
Of course. But before we do, officers, let me be perfectly clear. The situation is extremely volatile. The sooner we can speak about this lynching business, the better for all of us.
Okay, I want to do that soon. Do you know something about these tattoos?
That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question.
Why?
Better not tie the fourth day to the bat's day on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with.
By the way, I talked to Everett.
You have? And how did you like Mr. Clare?
He's a beautiful man. I was doing my job.
Of course, Detective. Excuse me for implying otherwise.
The RCM does not pick sides in this. I hope it doesn't come off any other way.
Of course. And I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. I'm not a corrupt verm myself. However, if you felt like discussing something, how could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious to hear another person's take? It's only natural. We would only be gossiping.
Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things.
Whatever.
Of course, Detective. Until then, is there anything I can help you with?
You're on a boat.
Why, yes I am.
Full license for this boat. Not a lot of people on boats.
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around?
Oh no.
I mean, we are on Le Caillou, are we not?
I haven't seen any other boats though.
I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle.
The lieutenant becomes defensive.
It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol industrial harbor. It's not a toy.
I like that he doesn't care at all about the boat. Like he's a machine guy and
Neither is this.
doesn't
A
care about
toy, I
boats.
mean. It's a machine for crossing long
I respect
distances
it.
in the Bay of Revachol, between the city and the islands.
You need to make this lady admit she's only riding around on this boat because she's rich.
Why?
Why what? Stop thinking. Take her down.
Police work.
Have it your way.
Alright.
Good.
Alright, you already know I have amnesia. I need reality help.
This reality.
No time to explain.
No, but please.
We have time for you to tell me why you need a reality lowdown.
Yeah, medical stuff.
Ah, yes. The episode. Sounds like an acute case of encephalopathy now that I think of it.
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfectly well. He only needs a lowdown on all of reality.
Kim,
We
the
may be
hype
here
man.
a while then.
Alright.
Ask away, officer. I'll help however I can.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
Okay. Before we do that, oh, Capri is the name of an Indo tribe. Interesting. That's also the name of Kim's car. Okay. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I was going to open up a thought slot, but I'm going to do that in just a minute. Oh no. Think of something close to you. Wow. These are both extremely difficult. I do want to get better conceptualization, but where are we?
These
Oh,
are
whoops. What times are these?
unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second too late. For the big time. The revolution. It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle.
This is what our brain said at the start of the game. That we're a bunch of apes duking it on a big sphere or something. What was the kerfuffle?
The turn of the century revolution? Don't answer it. It's a trick question. The revolution began in '02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end nearly the whole world had gotten involved. It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Marzolf came along and overthrew the government.
Yikes. This game came out in 2019.
From Revachol and Grad? not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Mazov's government was overthrown in '08, and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end.
What came next?
Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control.
What is the zone of control?
A city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the Coalition of Nations, and you, of course, the citizens' militia. The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol, after the failure of the suzerain and the commune. Modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-eastlery communication, telematic milieus, radiation, colored plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
It's been like this for 43 years.
Time flies.
Oh, I'd already heard that it was 51. What have we been doing?
The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. '08 to '19 was simply hell. The 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere.
Were they?
No. It was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing. The 40s dispelled it like a cold splash, an Isla-wide hangover, you might say. And here we are. Welcome to reality, baby.
We got it.
For her to be where she is, Wild Pines Group must have picked the right side.
It's interesting. So, without spoiling anything, this game gets into a lot of kind of surreal territory in the second half. And weirdly, like, the main spot where I can see that being foreshadowed is this conversation. Because this is kind of the first spot that we get to think about our own, not only our own position in the world, but like the history of that world, in like a more comprehensive way. And then we also get some commentary on like, oh, like the revolution happened and all of this other stuff that's context. So yeah, that's just interesting, even though it's kind of a standard standard-ish lore dump, historical conversation, whatever you want to call it. Trying to think. This is an interesting question. What would you have done differently?
Good question. What would you have done differently?
I would have said a medical solution. I asked you.
And I asked you, past less detective of the citizens' militia, what insight has acute encephalopathy given to you?
Medical
A
solution.
cold creeps up your spine, reaching its tendrils up your neck, toward the back of your head.
So a quarter of humanity simply lost their minds. And how would you stop a prion, a complex folding protein, unlife, with the technology 50 years ago?
Gross. Hygiene.
The wind stops, and for a moment, there's silence. The charge dissipates into the dark water. All is
Destroyed
quiet
with
on the
logic.
Monterey's inlet.
Sorry, I interrupted the shivers. Gotta not interrupt the shivers. I just love the idea of being like, yeah, I don't know anything about the world or social conditions or science, but I would simply introduce hygiene and modest social care.
A dog barks. A gunshot echoes off the walls of some distant building. A woman's voice.
There is peace in the heart.
Good hygiene. Really.
Interesting.
A very moderate solution to an extreme problem. It's those sort of half measures that doomed the authorities in Grad. When they failed to step up, Marzov and his party stepped in. In this particular case, maybe a more robust state response might have been appropriate.
Opinions expressed here do not reflect the official position of the RCM.
And what is your
Thanks, Kim.
official position, Lieutenant?
Retweets do not equal endorsements.
My position, ma'am? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way. I was saved by being 2 years old. That's my position. The abattoir.
Understandable.
Right, that's enough for now.
They are what they are. Who knows? An afterbloom may yet come. Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you want to know?
Not so fast. Who is she in all this? Ask her who she is. She owes you an answer.
I'm going to go through this. I think this is going to get us a thought that we want.
We're
Where
in
are we?
Martinez, baby.
Baby.
A casual term of endearment popular among the 50-plus crowd. It's a disco holdover, pay it no heed. Martinez is a district of Revachol. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour, north of the 881 and Jamrock. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. Shelled to smithereens during the Revolution. It has its charms, just not this time of year.
Tell me more about Martinez.
I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager. Not a lot has changed. There are ruins, a terminal, fishing boats, reeds, boys with boxy shoulders. This place used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its work. The reeds are the real star of the show here now. The further down the coast, the wilder it gets.
What sea is this?
It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol. And the bay feeds into the ocean. Yes, we're on an island in an ocean. The world's largest body of water, the Insulindic.
Known to the early Revacholians as Les Immensités Bleues, the blue immensities.
Interesting. Interesting. That's all I'm going to say about that. Tell me about another, perhaps even more fundamental aspect of reality.
I would be happy to.
Oh, whoops. No.
We're in Martinez.
What is Martinez?
Martinez is a... You
Sorry,
would
we've
be
been through all this
excused for
before.
not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even.
Okay.
Revachol. Revachol is what you call a city. The great kind. History detective. They built this city to resolve history. Our part in it, at least. Our centuries.
So it's interesting. I've heard, not to get on a tangent here in the middle of history with a capital H, but so if we look at our skills here, these are designed, this is not an original thought, this was pointed out to me by someone. these skill areas are designed so that every one of them has like a storytelling skill, like a skill whose main task, or one of whose main tasks, is to tell you about the world in a different way, so that no matter how you experience the game, you're getting information about the setting and about the place where you are in some capacity, even if you don't have a high skill in something, which I think is really, really interesting. I think it's actually really impressive that it's designed that way. So that's Encyclopedia for Intellect. I believe Inland Empire for Psyche. That is something that chimed in all the time on my last playthrough. Shivers for Physique. And then probably either Reaction Speed or Composure. Probably Reaction Speed, because that's what's been getting us to notice a lot of stuff. But I just think that's so cool. Like, not only is having your skills pipe up about the environment a really unique and interesting storytelling method, but making sure that no matter how someone distributes their skills, they're going to have some amount of capacity to experience that through one of them, or maybe more than one, right? We're getting a lot from Encyclopedia and from Reaction Speed and actually from Shivers, so we have a pretty good balance. But I just think that's so cool. All right. When was Revachol built?
In the DeLorean century. 380 years ago.
Okay, who built it?
The nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Seminine and Ile Marat, depending on your creed.
And why will it resolve history?
They say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered. The tensions are highest, the fault lines deepest.
And Joyce, okay, the reason that I just brought up all that skill stuff, not to go back to this, Joyce is kind of like a human version of Shivers. A little bit, or a human version of Encyclopedia, right? She's giving us all this information, and she's kind of, as far as I can tell, you know, we get all this fake information from Everett, but as far as we know, Joyce is giving us pretty good information about the world for no, real reason. I think that it's just implied that because she's wealthy and she's, has an education, that this is just stuff that she knows.
By that I mean conflicts. Ideological conflicts. The stuff of men. We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people in the middle of the Insulindic Ocean, the world's connective tissue. It's where the money is.
So we're in the center of the world.
Oh, we're quite a way off. About...
A collection of tall ghosts behind the water vapor. Light reflecting off their glass windows.
22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the bank of the world building. The bottom floors are Insiacom. Coalition government, Insulindian Mission Command.
Look to the sea.
Silence. She lowers her hand. The water, the light. It's as though you're seeing it for the first time. There is no recognition, only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from it.
We are where we are.
Yeah.
I have no truer answer to give, unfortunately.
This is one thought you need to complete. Where are you?
Was there something else you wanted to know? I remember something about a lowdown.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here before I want to ask her about herself, but I'm going to unlock us a thought slot. And I'm going to fill that up with Jamais Vu. And we still have one skill point left. That's good. I'm enjoying keeping one skill point kind of in the bank in case we fail something and want to retry. So this is going to give us a lot of extra experience whenever we click on a little orb. And it's going to take us 3 hours to internalize. And so given that this conversation is passing time, it is interesting that, the encyclopedia skill told us up front, and I just didn't listen to do this first. Maybe because of that. Anyway, I want to know what you are.
She won't maneuver her way out of this one.
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor. A devourer of nations and infants.
She sounds kind of like a Dark Souls NPC.
I am an ultra.
LMAO. She just needs like a creepy laugh. That ultra grind set.
She raises the corner of her mouth, smirking, revealing a canine.
A liberal. That's dramatic. What's that?
An ultra-liberal. It's a type of liberal. From the revolution.
Yeah.
It's, not the moderate kind.
I don't liberate pretty hard myself. Gross.
Yes. I am the nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. I pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution. My kind surrendered the nation to financial colonists.
You know, if you have irony about your political beliefs, they're actually not that bad. Right, Joyce?
I can see you thought we'd gone extinct. After all, no sane person identifies as an ultra-liberal anymore. Not in broad daylight. You're a centrist at heart. A real moralist, no? Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, do you find me frightening?
So I'm gonna be honest. The distinction between ultra-liberal and centrist I get, but liberal and centrist in the context of this game, unclear to me.
In her green eyes, you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride.
That's interesting. You're charming.
A devil, who being of great charm and guile, sneaketh into the homes of the godly.
What's up with this? Early modern frickin' pronunciation. All right. Somebody at Studio Zaum read Milton at some point. I see you. All right. Shakehead.
I hope so. I hope we are able to continue as friends despite my scaly bulk. And the insanity, bloodshed, and transfer of wealth that took place here. It was not the plan all along.
Just unhinged.
Thus settled, the liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. This was all our last generation managed.
Would you have done something differently?
With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez a monument to the efficacy of its artillery.
While a gentle wind sweeps the streets in the rebuilt east, light drizzle washing it clean, lights go up and motor carriages circulate the tracks.
I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the Coalition. Not here in Martinez, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake.
She realizes her small, cold fists are clenched. She loosens them.
Then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isola down rather than let them have it. Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother and a wife. Now, shall we return to reality?
That's it.
Glad to have been of assistance. That I know. Anything else?
So we can come back to her for badge stuff later. We can come back to her for reality questions later if we want to. I think the rest of it is just world building stuff, and I think we've had enough of that for today. Do I want to ask her for money? I'm gonna leave this until later. If I need money later, I will come ask. Goodbye, Joyce.
Of course, Detective. Take care.
Wow, yeah, that was a pretty productive conversation. So we learned a lot about the Union. We learned a lot about where we are. I've been saying this for a while, you know, just offhand, but we're in Martinez, which is part of Revachol. And we kind of got this feeling that, like, there's this immense history behind us, and most of the people that we've met have kind of slotted into this relationship to history and to the revolution that Joyce was talking about, that you know, slots into a particular kind of ideology. and I think I said this last time we streamed, but this game does kind of treat often ideology as something that can be like slotted into place, right? It's like a gameplay mechanic in addition to being you know, something deeply held and like personal. I like this graffiti. Does it say Wendy? Oh, it says Merde. That's funny. Wendy. So what I want to do now, I think, is do the autopsy of the body, because that is going to be another longish conversation, and it's going to take us a while. But first, I'm going to take a quick break, and my tea is almost done, and I'd like to get some more, so I will be back in, I'll say like 5 minutes. And I'll just let the music play here. You know what, actually, while I'm gone, we can look out at the sea. Okay, I'm back. Got my tea. Gonna turn this volume down for myself. It's a little bit extended. Hang on, where did Kim go? What happened? Oh my god. Is he gone? Something up with... This portrait's still here. This has never happened to me before. Interesting. Okay. I guess we're just gonna see what's up with that. I think we might have Ghost Kim. Oh, this is locked. Cool. I was thinking while I was away. Oh, heck yeah. Magnesium. You know, I know that I started this Let's Play last year around this time, and I was excited about replaying it, mostly because of the DLC update. I'm excited. Oh, where were you, dude? I am excited to be playing it now. Where did he go? I guess he just got stuck on something. That's so funny. I'm excited to be playing it now. You know, with a little bit more space to have thought about some of these ideas, and also to have seen how the game is done, like, within popular culture. Oh, look, we're on the other side of the fence right here from where we need to be. Just to see where this game has gone in popular culture, because I feel like it, you know, maybe outside of like video game circles, it was not really a phenomenon, but at least in the critical circles that I find myself in, it has been such a big deal, and its influence, I think, has really been felt and will continue to be felt for a long time on, you know, text-based role-playing games and surrealist games and games where you have a partner that you're working with, and, you know, all of those elements of this that draw so heavily from, like, TTRPGs and stuff, and CRPGs, like, you know, Planescape Torment, obviously, but other kinds of games in that genre, too. You know, this, like, it's overstates it a little bit to, or it's been overstated a little bit, but I think it's worth stating that this really is in that lineage. It is a really special game. So it's cool to, like, have a little bit more distance from it and have forgotten some stuff about it. Also just want to note that animation where Kim took out his little notebook. It's so good. Okay, what's up with this wall?
This is a wall on the side of an apartment.
Oh
building.
no. Why is it so hard? Maybe I need to do something else before I come back here. I'm kind of noping out of a lot of these 3% tracks. On my first playthrough, I just... Not to talk about my first playthrough all the time, but I really, like, went for it every time. And that means that you end up having to either spend a lot of skill points or reopen stuff in other ways, and it's kind of a pain. And so, like, you know, we made a check, I think, 2 streams ago to look at some notes, and we had like a 28% chance, and we got it. And that was super exciting. But if it's like a 3% chance, that, like, you know, go with God and all that. But, you know, often you're not gonna make it. Okay. What time is it? It's 18:21 in game time. Alright, thanks, Kuno. Alright, I'm gonna save it. Just, and I'm gonna start saving back down here just to. But let's do this autopsy, shall we?
The rotting man lies on his side with his eyes looking straight through you. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
What does a field autopsy?
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
What you do know is At 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Muindi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38th single, Et puis descend, to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea.
A puis de song. Is that and then something. And then blood. Ugh. I like that Revachol uses French, even though this is kind of like a alternative world. Oh, let's get in there.
There truly is a time for everything, even for yellow gardening gloves. However, they are lacking hygienically. I suggest you get in there in limited capacity.
Okay.
I'll ask you when I need you to. For the most part, maybe I should handle the contact and you take notes?
I have my ledger already. This is great.
Yes, you see, the field autopsy form is the one on red copy of paper.
Alright, let's talk to him first.
Shoot, Looney Rooney.
Oh, we've already exhausted the conversation topics.
Come back later, Corporal. Amuse you.
Alright, open your
The
ledger.
dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with
Assistant.
That's you.
Oh, we were going with this. We know our real name now. Harry.
the corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says
Coroner's case number
KK57 0803 dot 0815. Next.
name.
NA. Next. NA. Roughly 50.
dry 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side.
I'm gonna write 42.
He nods.
Mondial.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Muindi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish. The pudgy mess of curdled meat.
All right.
Male.
Possible insensitive comment around people's private parts coming up from the other people in this scene. Just a warning.
Pigs can have sex.
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
We're still going with March 4th. 51. What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
KK 57 0503 0815 listens motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck.
None. At least not after the initial examination.
Treatment is like, I already know this. Treatment is like the changing something about the body after it's already passed. Or after he's already passed. So yeah, we looked at these footprints a couple days ago, or a couple streams ago. It looks like he was carried.
They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dog walkers.
Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-DeLorean burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform. Then,
We should start the post-mortem.
the corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copy paper tries to answer why.
Okay. External examination. Summary.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
Another warning. Grody stuff coming up. If you don't like grody stuff related to autopsies, this might not be the part of the stream for you.
See, it's happening.
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
The disappointment is palpable.
The boots are ceramic. Vitreous enamel. They are fused to his skin from blood flowing downward post-mortem. Removal of the boots is left for processing. The boot has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumerical. The number is purposefully concealed by the design.
Interesting.
Tattoos. The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo, resembling a map of the night sky. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene, using a Trigat Mini. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color yellow. Length 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature below freezing. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short. Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs. Consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max. Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest. Consistent with predation.
Yeah, okay.
Mark. The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
You got just the right tool. The chain cutters.
Yeah.
Always good to think ahead. Now, we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below.
Careful.
With as much precision as you can.
See, my pig is gonna fuck his head off.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
Oof. Oofa doofa. Look for a good spot.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges. The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in there. Steady now. Like a flower arranger. 2 cuts and it should come loose.
Heck yeah, that's really cool. So we had a 42% chance before, and then our interfacing skill helped out our red skill. Nice. Okay. Oh, okay. This is about what the vomit skill was before, or not the vomit. The shooting the body down skill was before. We didn't get that, so fingers crossed.
After some deliberation, you sink the cutters into the knot tying the belt together. You squeeze the rubber handles together, sweat forming on your brow. Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it.
The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck. Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters. Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact, genitalia.
No! Let's get out and see!
I fucking knew it!
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury. Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty.
We have a real museum here. Of battles, wars.
This is cool. I'm actually able to contribute to this autopsy. When you have extremely high empathy score or emotional intelligence scores and nothing else, surprisingly, you don't have a ton to say about the visual and motion-based aspects of an autopsy.
Last item, hands.
The hand feels heavy, filled with
Oof, I'm gonna skip this part.
like it's ready.
Hands
Gross.
are clean. No sign of injury from struggling.
What were we expecting?
I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, this stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment. Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next?
Kim's voice acting is so good. I don't think any of them were voice acted in the original. I could be completely wrong about that, but yeah, whoever his voice actor is awesome. Internal.
Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn.
LMAO.
Morals.
If I may add the moral of this story.
What would that be?
The dead man looks, too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story.
I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer.
All right, NA.
Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
Oh, I learned what the hyoid bone is from my voice therapist a couple weeks ago.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth.
Ugh.
You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh, like the creaking of an old house at night.
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable. Respiratory system. Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen. Hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth.
No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there. Sickly sweet air, unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again. It's hard. Once more, you taste stomach acid in the back of your throat. A contraction. Your throat pumps a little something from your stomach and into your mouth. You're forced to swallow, just to keep looking. Inside, you see darkness. Just a mess of meat and darkness.
Hemorrhaging present in mucus. Hepatobiliary. NA.
Why?
Are you a hepatobiliary expert?
No.
Neither am I. Same for toxicology and serology. NA. Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging. Gastrointestinal.
This will do.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila. What's next on the list?
Injuries.
Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 feels. Leave a 4th one too.
Be thorough if you want maximum results.
So it's telling us to be careful. What's the 4th injury field for?
Nothing. Just in case.
Uh,
Oh, So we in Florida.
This is a team effort.
You mean the spin-stabilized munition from a Kill A990 muzzleloader lodged in his... That was not a team effort. I just missed my shot. Also, let's not mention it. Muddies the water.
Okay.
Injuries.
Bite marks.
Head, chest and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted. And your opinion, officer?
Non-fatal.
Agreed. Next injury?
Contusions.
So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury. A stone. The injury does not have...
At maximum velocity, fucko!
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and
Non-fatal.
Right.
Sorry,
Next.
I'm skipping some of the gross stuff, but if you want to pause it and read it, I guess that's your prerogative. Ligature mark.
Dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck.
below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side. The ring around his neck is visible. Think for a moment. There's time. Don't rush.
So what it's asking us, just to summarize, is if we think... So we have all of these kind of clues that we don't know what to do with yet about the body. We have all of these feet or footsteps leading towards the tree. We don't know what they're from. And we have the fractured hyoid bone. And we have the ligature from the belt. And so it's asking us to decide if we think that the hanging is what killed this person or if that was post-mortem. And yeah, I'm going to say that it was.
Why do you say that?
I'm serious.
Okay. Why don't you think it was fatal?
I reached this conclusion through the psychic arts. Aren't his hands tied?
Honestly, I'm not sure there weren't marks on his wrist. That part got blurry for me. The stench. But you are right, I was ready to call this. Now I think we should leave it empty, at least for the time being. Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over.
How did it go?
It was an irregular field autopsy. We did not establish cause of death, which is supposed to be the goal of an autopsy. But, personally, I do not see this as a parameter for success.
What else?
We were thorough with the list of injuries, too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say? Given the circumstances, it was a professional field autopsy.
Interesting. Not sure how that went. It was kind of unexpected.
I need a copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg for processing.
You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse. I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something.
Oh, why is this so low? Why? Okay. What's up with our perception? Right, leave. So I'm gonna see quickly, is there anything that I have that's gonna help me with perception? No. Dang, that's a low check.
The man is decomposing visibly now. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
So, even if I fail this, I'm not gonna let Kim take him. Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna try it. Probably won't get it, but I'm not opposed to putting a point into perception and trying it again later. So funny. Stop wasting time. You're smart. I think that's just because we have high intelligence, so it just doesn't want us to thoroughly look at the body because we're smart. And smart people don't do that, I guess. Okay, fingers crossed. I don't expect to get this one.
To run your hands over the victim's cold body, his limbs, his torso with its swollen organs. Maybe you should be more thorough. His fingernails have turned dark. They're chipped and quite long. There is dirt under them. That's all.
Do you think we missed something?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we are in livor mortis here. He is disintegrating. We need to refrigerate the body if we want to conduct another examination, and we need to do it fast.
Okay, where are we gonna find a fridge?
It would have to be industrial in size. Let's start by asking Gart at the Whirling in Rags and the Fritz store down at the gates. If they don't know, but only if all else fails.
Last
What
resort.
are you looking at, Beano man? You want a piece of the Kuno? Wanna get fucked?
Only if all else fails.
Or remember the buttons on that intercom over there, on the side of the building next to the Whirling? One was for Revachol Ice City. Perhaps it's a clue.
Cool. Okay, let's hurry.
This is one task we cannot sideline. With every hour, whatever we are looking for will become harder to find.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so we just got a new task, which is we feel like there's something still up with the body that we're not seeing. So, see, and it's so funny. I didn't notice this the first time. The game really wants you to check it and keep checking it. And without spoiling it, yes, there is a reason that we're checking the body. And there's a reason we're suspicious about cause of death here. But now we have to find a fridge. So my logic told me to go to Ice City, which is in that doomed commercial area. So I think that's probably what we're going to end up doing next time. Let's just look at all this stuff one more time. So this is, our next kind of big task. Tonight, it's only 7 in game time. I think around like 9ish, we're going to have to go into Gart and pay him. And this is another reason we can't send the body to processing tonight, because we want to have Kim with us for that conversation. That's kind of the big stuff we're able to do right now. I don't think we need to talk to Everett. That's something I'm willing to skip. And then Joyce, we've hit a wall with that. I think the last thing I'm going to do tonight before I leave is read through this ledger and name our case. And before that, I'll just do a quick save. All right, where is it? Items. Damaged ledger. So we found this in the trash.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A pitiful cabbage of white and yellow papers hanging from plastic board, barely held together by a metal clip. This sad display is made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner. There's a piece of toilet paper, or is it cleaning tissue? No, it's toilet paper, desperately sticking to the back of the blue plastic clipboard. It's a metaphor for you. It's just toilet paper sticking to the back of the plastic clipboard. You can take it off if you want.
Take it off.
Still wet, the toilet paper peels off the plastic easily. All you have to do is shake it off with your finger and voila, the ledger now looks marginally better.
Let's just go through these.
An block runs the width of the board, biting down on the paperwork. Its crocodile teeth are the only thing keeping the papers together. A regular pencil, the tip worn down to nothing, has been attached to the clip.
Run your finger.
The surface is interrupted by a silvery sticker. It's rectangular, sparkling with iridescence. You don't know how you didn't notice it before. Looks like an official mark, made to be low visibility outside the right circumstances. It is similar to the RCM watermark on your blazer the lieutenant mentioned. Didn't he say something about the headlights of his motor carriage?
Oh, interesting.
You can read these there.
This is one of the hologram watermarks.
What? Yes, halogen watermark used for adding information to RCM property. It depends. Aside from an anti-counterfeiting stamp,
Oh,
mine
interesting.
has my station number and address.
Maybe yours will have how many cases you've solved.
How can I read it?
Any capable light with the right wavelength will do. Yes, RCM vehicles have headlights too.
This means you can read the watermarks if you just turn the lights on.
Oh.
Okay.
While a bunch of sodden papers sag from the
Okay, let's do that. Let's go turn the lights on. That's cool. I didn't know you could do that.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox.
All right. Ready? I turn, you press start. It's next to the preheater.
The dashboard lights up with orange glow. The rounds per minute gauge jumps, and the engine of the Caprice Canela comes to life with a whiny growl.
Teamwork.
Like a leopard waking from its sleep. The lights unfold with a little click, casting electrical light onto the ground before the vehicle.
There you go. I'll turn them off from the remote once you're done.
This is so cool. It's like an invisible ink puzzle. Alright, let's try that again. Why do I have a notification here? Oh. Yep. Interact.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of paper.
Flip.
An aluminium block runs. The surface is looks like an official mark. It is simple.
What? Yeah. Any capable light. Yes.
This means you can read the...
Okay.
While a bunch of sodden paper...
Am I not standing in the right spot?
Yes?
Oh, whoops. Mistake. You seem to be following me. Oh, sorry, lady.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board, with the permeables drawer inside. It's barely held together by a
I guess I'm just
then
gonna go
made
through
complete
this
by
and
the
then see
faint
if
smell
an
of
option to
urinal
engage with
cleaner.
it turns up.
It's made of dark blue plastic, hard enough to beat someone to submission with. The edges are rounded, however. The U4 size board feels thick and heavy in your hand. Light shimmers on its wet surface. On the back, you see the embossed letters, RCM.
Shake.
Something rattles inside, ever so lightly. Is there a hidden compartment? And something small inside. Light, made of paper or cardboard. Or dried flowers, perhaps.
Uh-oh.
Permeables. It's not hidden per se. The compartment is made for permeable materials that would get damaged if something happened to it. The plastic shimmers like lapis lazuli, but it is not see-through. You cannot see to its center.
How would I open it?
With your hands, U4-sized pages hang from the clip screwed to the top of the board.
Open the hidden compartment. Okay. Yes.
The two sides of the board appear slightly
Nice.
misaligned, like a drawer that's come off its slides. If you bend the plastic on your knee slowly, the slides snap back into place. It should be possible to just, you know.
All right, here we go.
Without resistance or sound, the two panels move against each other. The compartment is now open.
What's in there?
2 ticket stubs and a handmade postcard.
Wow. Ticket stubs.
2 octopuses are smiling, reaching their tentacles toward each other in the colored pencil drawings. The tickets permit access to the zoo in Rivershaw East. The aquarium costs extra. These let you go there too.
Pick up
Thin
the
wax
card.
paper has been glued to a piece of cardboard. Sounds like leaves rustling when you pick it up. You see violet flowers, floral patterns, patches of glue.
Smell it.
It smells of chewing gum, apricot flavored.
Oof.
A touch of cinnamon, the end of summer. You think the label says tutti frutti.
Open it.
Familiar handwriting lines the inside of the card.
Ooh.
Looped, round letters in a woman's hand.
So tense.
A young woman in her 20s. There is care, effort, and a smile, you think. Although that is not something you can read from someone's handwriting. Harry, it begins. You're already reading. I wanted to write you a letter so you can read it when you wake up. Maybe it will make you happy. Throw it away, please.
Uh-oh. I'm happy we upgraded our volition.
Your hand shakes, holding the card. Every morning when I step out and you're asleep behind me, it says, I find a little piece of sadness in me. I carry it in my chest, down Voyager Road. Every step I take, it grows. By the time I reach the fuel station, it has filled me entirely. I step onto the light rail and look back. Sparks fall from the bow collector. I know it will be like this until late afternoon, when I get off the 42 and walk back to you. You. Every step I take will get lighter. It almost makes me run. Sometimes I do. I can't believe I met you. I can't believe the happiness I feel with you. You have a vast, vast soul, and I will always, always, always come back to it. Kisses, kisses, kisses. You feel the air sucked out of your lungs and the blood sucked out of your head. Everything around you gets dark. Small white dots appear. You feel the ledger slip from your hand. No, hold on. To what? There's nothing.
Detective, is everything all right?
LMAO.
There is nothing. Again. Well, almost nothing. There is the ground below you, that's still there. And the small light that's on, fluttering, somewhere in the basal ganglia. That's me. Blue eyes, that's me. Who was what?
He speaks of the sickening longing, the unwell emotion, Even in the darkness, he's grasping for it. Still trying to hold on to the great sorrows slipping in the water. Slimy. Here in the paleo-mammalian cortex, we call it the shadow. Because it's always there.
Tell him. Tell him.
Ah, yes. In the olfactory system, they call it the apricot chewing gum scented one. It's unhealthy of them to linger on it so. It didn't smell nice. It smelled like betrayal.
There is no Voyager Road. There are no roads, no houses, no lights in the windows. It's all on pause.
Was that?
Bloated corpse of the past resurfacing.
Yeah.
Don't prod at it. It will start moving again. You think they would let you? Until you disintegrate into biomolecules? No. Someone is breathing on your face now, inspecting your pupils, stupid idiot.
Yes, they're pouring something on you. It's in you. And
It's delicious. Glowing lights on a dashboard emerge out of nothingness.
Where am I?
In the upholstered cabin of Lieutenant Kitsuragi's motor carriage, seated in the driver's basket, the air is thick with leatherworks and heavy fuel oil. Cold water runs down your chin.
Drink. Water.
Okay.
The water is cold, silvery, the stuff of life itself, as it pours down your parched throat.
Drink. You haven't drunk water in 2 days. Did you know the human body is not made to survive on alcohol alone? You need a secondary form of hydration.
Kim has big older sibling energy.
With greedy gulps, you down half a liter of cold water.
Thanks, Kim.
What happened?
I should ask you the same.
You were reading your paperwork. Then you passed out. I carried you to my kinema to take you to a hospital. Then you came to.
How long?
10 minutes, maybe.
Yeah. I came into contact with the burnt out ruins of the past.
That does sometimes happen.
Oh.
He replies with such understanding, it's as if the burnt out ruins of the past were an occupational hazard.
You dropped these. Are you okay to proceed?
Yeah.
Good.
The Ledger of Failure and Hatred is a special item that can be used both as an interrupt.
That's a very funny tooltip. The Ledger of Failure and Hatred can be accessed from the inventory screen.
As you hold your ledger's clip,
Oh, there we go.
An iridescent hologram appears. A street grid and the veins of a great river.
There she is. Revachol West.
Around the borders of the watermark are dozens, no, hundreds of micro-perforations. The rectangular watermark is overlaid with the logo of the RCM, and yet the major arteries of Revachol are all recognizable.
Ah, cool.
They shimmer in the Kanema's headlights. You catch a faint glimmer from a broken beer bottle in the distance. Sounds. 2 men engaged in a drunken argument, followed by the closing of some distant window. In the middle of a broken plaza, illuminated in a cone of light, 2 men, one slim, the other sturdy. They are on the city stage, but only one of them knows his lines.
Ah, Martinez at night. Let me see. Right here. No, it does not.
There are many of them, and they are divided into 3 separate rows. The first row has 18 dots. The next is the longest. There are so many, it's hard to count. The last row has 3 perforations. As you look at them, you feel your index finger reflexively contract 3 times.
Oh.
A memory, an echo in the recesses of your amygdala.
Those are perforations. They represent your record as an officer of the RCM. There are your statistics, as it were. I should have guessed you'd keep a record. Officers often do.
Alpha male officers who are proud of their
Yeah,
numbers
that's interesting.
often do.
The officers, he's
It's
not saying himself.
The first row represents your years of service. 18 years. Okay, not bad at all. What did you do before you volunteered?
Probably an office job.
No shame in working a regular job, detective. Sometimes
thank you,
after a
Kim.
long day of doing this, I even envy it. This next row, the one that wraps all the way around, is your number of closed cases. Wow, more than 200.
Was that a lot?
It's quite a lot, even for someone who's been on the force for nearly 2 decades. Usually, clearing more than 10 cases a year puts you in the 90th percentile of all RCM officers.
You know the answer already. The tingle in your index finger gave it away.
That's right. How did you know? Ah, right. Sometimes the brain's able to preserve certain responses even when conscious memory has been, let's say, misplaced. For an RCM officer, especially Precinct 41, which is in the Jamrock Quarter, it's rather tame. I mean that in a good way. There are certain officers who treat their kills like some kind of ghoulish game. If they do happen to solve a case, it's usually by accident. But it seems as though you are, or at least were, one of the good ones. So we have that to be thankful for.
Thanks, Kim.
The lieutenant nods.
Right. I'll go turn off the lights.
You can now see your statistics.
That's cool. Alright, I think we're gonna end there on that emotional note. Man, I love a delayed title card. I love it. One of my favorite things. Just like closing out of that ledger experience and then opening it back up and seeing the title of the game for the first time. Primo stuff. Yeah, so I think this is the end of our stream for tonight, but we got a lot done. We did our autopsy, mixed results on that, but we're gonna, try and find a place to put the body for a while next time, I think. Gonna go in search of that fridge. We got information on reality. We got a couple new thoughts. So we're still working on J'aimez-vous. We got this one, White Morning, which I think we're gonna try and take. We didn't get this one, which is interesting. But we'll see. Yeah, so next time we have an opening here, we'll put that in. And, yeah, fair amount of stuff done. So I'm probably going to be back with this sometime next week, probably like midweek. That's generally when I'm free. But yeah, thanks for joining me. I'm having a good time with this Let's Play. It's crazy that we're still on day 1. We're getting a lot done, partially because I have, privileged information having played it previously, but that means we'll have lots of time to just kind of mess around and do new stuff later on in the game. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you next week.